Hello, beloved priestesses. I'm Erica. I'm a psychic medium and a high priestess. And if you're here and this message called you in, then you're here for a reason. So this is going to be a message for both masculine and feminine, by the way, because you could be a man in this incarnation, but maybe you've had incarnations as a woman and you were an initiate of the temple. Or maybe you're a divine masculine who has a divine counterpart, high priestess counterpart, and a part of your mission here in your work is to assist in this, to hold space in this, etc. Okay, so if you guys are new here, welcome in, my loves. I am a divine channel. So a lot of times my messages are downloads, visions, things that have happened, magical moments, miraculous spiritual things. And then I come on here if I'm guided and I share with you guys, right? So if you guys have been with me for a while, y'all already know, right? So if you're here and you're watching this, chances are that you resonate as a high priestess. And this is going to be a message specific from Isis, the sex magic temples, the mystery schools of Isis, Hathor, Lilith, and Mary Magdalene, the Magdalene, the Rose lineage, Mother Mary, etc. Okay, but so the lineage and mystery school sex magic temples that I'm channeling and speaking to today are specifically Isis, Lilith, and the Magdalene temples. Okay, and mystery schools. They are different, but the same, okay? Just like all of us, we are all different, but the same, So I just wrote out here, Sex Magic Priestess. This is coming through so strongly this morning. And I actually was channeling some stuff out, and then I felt called to pick up a book that I had that kind of talks about this stuff. So anyways, so I'm going to share with you guys, okay? So I'm talking to temple priestesses of the Isis, Lilith, and Magdalene temples. Okay, so maybe you've had lifetimes or incarnations where you've connected to this. Okay, and the reason why this is coming through right now is because as we are initiating and moving into this new year, the year of the wood snake 2025, I, as a priestess of these orders and ancient lineages, and that's why it's coming through, is I am another soul that's just, I already do this kind of work anyways, but a lot of the collective energies out there, like they just weren't ready for this kind of stuff. But now this is an initiation back into the sacred temples, back into the mystery school and the sex magic temples. Okay. So I'm talking to temple priestesses of Isis, Lilith, and Mary Magdalene. You guys are temple initiates, okay? And like I said, this is about sex temples, mystery schools, which are literally magic schools, okay? What is a sex temple, Erica? Okay, because a lot of you guys, you're aware of this or it resonates, but maybe you're on a logical, literal level right now, you're going, well, what exactly is that? So I will tell you. A sex temple is where women and men come, or they came, okay, to train in sexual art. Okay, sex magic. It is an art. It is a tool. It is very powerful. So it's a sex temple is where men and women came to train in sexual art, healing, and magic. This is the sex temples and these sacred temples and these mystery schools is where humans learned of sacred union and how to come into it. And we did come into sacred union, okay? And this is right now what we are preparing for, initiating into, and receiving this year and moving forward, okay? So if you're here listening to this, that means that you've already been moving through initiations. You've already been moving through the preparing stages to get to this point. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So it took a lot of very, very profound spiritual discipline. Okay. So You know, all the time, even myself, right? It's like, oh, I'm on a spiritual journey, and, you know, oh, I'm so spiritual, right? But we only take 10 minutes, 30 minutes a day to actually be intentional with meditation or connecting or going within or breathing or, you know, tuning in or whatever it is, right? When I speak of spiritual discipline on these levels, okay, for these temple priestesses, their spiritual discipline, their entire life, 24/7 was devoted. They were devotees and initiates on that level. And that's you, because I'm channeling this, because whoever finds this, you are these temple priestesses. You know this stuff. It's ingrained within your DNA and soul blueprint. Okay? So I'm here to reawaken you to these things. I'm here to jog the memory, past life memories, okay? I'm here to help you remember, and I'm here to help guide in the best way possible for who's ready and who's here as these high priestess initiates and temple priestesses. Okay. Temples, all the temples were created, ran, and taught by women. Sex priestesses devoted, and this is what I mean, sex priestesses devoted their entire lives, their spirit, and their bodies to this work. Extreme spiritual discipline, faith, commitment. Many of the pyramids built, okay, and sacred temples built, not just in ancient Egypt, but all around Earth. They're typically smaller temples, not like the huge pyramids of like Giza and stuff. I mean, some of them for sure, but I'm talking, they were smaller pyramids, smaller temples. And many of the pyramids are sex temples. The temples being created by women, by the priestesses, okay, by the goddess, by the priestesses, right? We knew how to generate energy and how to create energy vortexes. Like, this is the stuff that we know. This is the stuff that's a part of our, again, soul blueprint and soul wisdom, knowledge, memory, etc. This is the stuff that we are now bringing back, and many priestesses have already been in the process of doing so. But we are, this year will be a year in a big way of reemergence of these sacred temples. So I'm one stepping stone along the way bringing you this message, but there will be other initiates, other priestesses, other teachers or guides or whatever you want to say, that will be brought into your awareness, maybe through a podcast, a YouTube channel, a book. You know, you go to a spiritual retreat and you meet someone, you guys hit it. I don't know. Right now we are bringing back the divine feminine, sacred temples, mystery schools, sex magic, all the things. Okay, it's like the priestesses on earth with whom, because if you're here watching this, that means more than likely you are a high priestess, divine feminine who is connected, but also can channel basically Isis, Mary Magdalene, Lilith, Hathor. They channel through you just how they channel through me. Everyone, you know, and maybe that's not a part of your gifts as being a very powerful channel, but you're very powerful in other ways. Do you know what I mean? But if you're here, you're connected with them, period, point blank. Okay, the goddesses make no mistake. Okay, hunties? All right, so we created these temples in very specific ways, very specific places, and we encrusted and we encoded these temples with sacred geometries and symbols. And these sacred geometries and symbols created the energy vortex, but it also sealed our sacred temples for protection. It amplified the energies. It was very heavily connected to, you know, the elements, to the astrology. There's all kinds of stuff, okay? So within the floors, the walls, the ground, the foundation, everything, we encoded sacred geometries and symbols and light language as well, okay? Light language symbolisms. So very protected, very high, like when I say high voltage power, I mean beyond anything man-made that we've seen. Do you know what I mean? Okay. These temples, and this is why, you know, modern day now, you know, because many of these temples, when patriarchal rule came in and and they started to demonize the priestess, they demonized our magic, our healing power, and what they did was these dark magicians, these dark lords, who now, you know, for eons now, they've infiltrated Terra Gaia, they've infiltrated Pachamama, Earth. Okay. So that's what we're doing now, is we're rising back up with our goddess fury and love and shadow and all the things. Okay, we come into sacred union, not sacred union with our beloved counterpart, sacred union with ourself. That's the whole point here. And that's what a lot of people out there are missing. They're so fucking focused on the divine masculine and when are they coming, and I'm so, when the journey has nothing to do with them or the other. And same thing if you're masculine watching, it has nothing to do with your beloved feminine. It has everything to do with you and coming into sacred union with self. And then you magnetize in someone who is a match to you, right? Otherwise, you're going to just, if people come into your life, it's just going to be lessons. They're going to be lessons and seasons and reasons. I don't care how hot and sexy it is. I don't care how deep it feels. It's going to be a season and a reason until you elevate and come into that balanced, more stabilized, you know, consciousness between your own feminine and masculine. So the temple was a place of worship, just how we nowadays, right, we have our altar spaces. That's a place of prayer, meditation, worship. It's an energy center where we set intentions, we manifest, we pray for healing, for this, right? Okay, the temples were the same thing, except we were inside the temple. And like I said, they were a very powerful energy source. So if you were in the temple and any work you do or any healing or anything, it's like amplified, like I said. So the temples were a place of worship, cleansing, healing. It's where we worship the goddess and the god. It was a place of offerings, a place of ceremony, a place of celebration, dance, laughter, but also childbearing, childbirth. The priestesses would gather, and the priestesses that I'm speaking of, we would gather, and some were midwives or doulas specifically trained in the art of childbirth. Okay, so again, the temple was actually designed, the energy vortex that was designed in the temples, it was a sacred, it was basically, it was the womb, the woman's womb. Okay, so it's like being in the womb, essentially. So for childbirth to happen within these temples, it's very sacred, okay? So, but our high alchemical magic, we were able to generate energy and to generate healing. So as a woman was in child labor, she did not feel the pain. Or it was dim. The pain was dulled to an extreme amount. Okay. So the baby would not be born in the trauma, because babies bring all that in, you know, they come from like the peaceful womb with the mother, they absorb everything in the mother's environment while in utero. And then when they come into the world, they come into the world with mother in pain, screaming, yelling. And I know it's natural and it's beautiful and it's all these things, but to an infant, we carry these traumas, right? So the priestesses, a lot of the times, that's what we did. It was like a peaceful kind of birthing ceremony to alleviate trauma and things from mother and child. So there's a whole bunch that goes into that, you know, because a part of the birthing pain, you know, part of the birthing process is the pain, and it's very important. But anyways, so, and then the temples were also a place of, you know, where we worshipped the elements, God, you know, God, goddess, nature, etc. And it was just a place of connection. And it was very sacred. And in fact, a lot of the times in certain chambers within the temples where the priestesses performed their magic, a lot of times the men weren't allowed into the chambers unless it was specific that they needed to be there for, you know, sex magic, healing work, etc. And a lot of the sex magic actually, there's actually like no penetration. So a lot of the sex magic rituals and work that we do or did in the temples, I speak in, because it's what we're already doing now. Like I said, like I'm, you know, I do this work already. Many priestesses are, and now this is just helping whoever this is, whoever's called to this. I'm just here helping to open up these chambers within your Akash, these chambers within your heart, within your soul memory. Okay. Again, I spoke of the geometrics and the chambers and being specifically encoded. And the temples were just a sacred, safe space where we summoned, where we would gather and summon, but also we would banish if we needed to as well. Okay. So like fuck around and find out. Okay. Like for real. Okay. But we cultivated energy, and we would and it's high level alchemical. It's like it's sexual magic and sexual energy, but it's being directed to other places and other, you know, for healing and into, you know, it could be like so many things. Okay. When we would gather in the temples and we were in sacred ceremony and ritual and in sacred communion with our divine masculine and counterpart, and we were, connecting through tantra, through breath, through kundalini, through fire. Okay, what we used a lot was fire and water specifically, these elements and alchemies, and quite literally to be like literal fire and water. So like fire, candles, but we would use oils, aromatherapy, candles, and song and singing and sound. And again, this was like, these temples are still here. We did, when the patriarchal rule came in and the religion demonized the feminine voice and magic and quite literally manipulated it, and they saw what power it was, right? So they took it, and they actually are the ones that demonized it through religion and patriarchal rule, right? They are the ones that came in and they killed so many of us sex priestesses. They just came in and they slaughtered us. They killed us. They made us flee our homes, our lands. They killed our families, our beloveds, our children. Just horrific. Then this is a lot of what is added to what we call our witch wound, which so many of us men and women are here. That's a part of what we're healing, is the witch wound. You know, for centuries, you guys, for hundreds of years in Europe, they were, I mean, this goes way before the Salem witch trials. That was like icing on the cake, okay? But the demonization and the cruelty and the horrific acts of violence and malice and murder and everything, you know, I mean, it's crazy what they did and essentially got away with, and what they've been getting away with to this day. And that is what we are here eradicating. Okay, so I want to just share a little bit here. So if you feel guided, and I say this because this book, I'm sharing it with you, but you have to be very honest with yourself in this moment, who I'm talking to, okay? First of all, this is the book that I'm sharing. Or the part that I'm gonna read. This is the second level of the book, so you would wanna start with the first book that she channeled. But she's just like someone like myself, you know, a priestess, an initiate of the Isis and Lilith temples. She resonates, she clearly is very connected with Isis and Lilith. But again, the Magdalenes, same thing, the sexual magic, the sacred temples, the sex magic, the mystery schools, the cultivation and, you know, healing with using energy and on a quantum level. That's all of our, that's the priestess lineages. So anyways, so the book is Symbols of Sex Magic, Secrets from the Temple of Isis and Lilith. So again, this is just a woman, an initiate like myself. It would be like me connecting the way that I do, you know, with these ascended beings and goddesses, and then just like channeling a book and channeling what I'm shared. Do you know what I mean? So it's very beautiful. I love how she did this. But I like how she articulates. So yeah, so the book is, her name is Luna Aura, and the book is Symbols of Sex Magic. But again, this is the second, I haven't picked this book up in years, you guys. Like, it's so funny that all this is, and then tomorrow we have our 14th Quantum Healing and Activation Workshop for the 111 portal. And then, you know, we have it's like crazy. Like, we have like the full moon, the North Node is about to shift and change signs. There's just a lot going on. And then all of this is coming up today. So and then tomorrow, the Quantum Healing Workshop is literally, we're astral traveling to Avalon, and we're working with a circle of high priestesses, Avalonian priestesses, and we're working with the fairies and the unicorns. Isis will be there holding space, Merlin, just a lot of, you know, really magical, powerful beings. But it's to activate your priestess path. It's to activate your high priest path. It's to activate your magician power within, and to help you actually connect with it, use it, cultivate it in a really profound way. Okay, so if you're interested in the workshop, it's on Zoom, you guys. Tomorrow, it's going to be, well, now it's tomorrow because today's the 10th. So it's going to be tomorrow, on the 11th, on January 11th, 111 at 11 a.m. So it's all ones, Pacific Standard Time. Okay. Tickets are $44 USD. This is an experience. This is the 14th one that I have done. They're all different. We go to different places. We work with different energies, different deities, goddesses, etc. So anyways, tickets are $44 USD. If you can't make the live, which a lot of people can't because different time zones, life, etc., it is recorded. Everyone who purchases a ticket will receive the recording, and you can tune into that whenever you are ready or feel called, or tune into it as many times as you feel called, because you will have different experiences every single time you do. I promise you that. Some people may be like, don't make promises you can't keep. And I'm like, oh, honeys, I can keep that promise. I know for a fact, okay? This kind of stuff right here is a lot of what we're activating. These gifts, these memories, it's attunements, you know? Are you ready? If you're still here watching this, I would say you are. And maybe you don't quite feel ready, because on a soul level, if you're ready, you're going to feel it in your entirety. You're going to feel it radiating like, fuck yeah, I'm so ready, right? And if you're not quite ready, you're going to feel a little fear or a little timid or a little, yeah, it resonates, but oh, I don't know, I'm not quite there yet. That's okay. That's okay. We've all been there, right? These initiations take years, okay? Like, I've been initiating for years. You've been initiating for years. All this stuff, all this stuff came through, and I started opening up to it more about 3.5 years ago or so. Okay, so, you know, it's been several and a half years that I've been channeling and tuning into this and cultivating it and remembering it and practicing it, and you know what I mean? That's why so many divine feminines we've gone completely celibate until our true kingdom masculine comes in, because we understand that sexually transmitted demons, I don't care, people can be like, I'm so healthy, I'm so, you know, whatever, but they could be walking around infested with sexually transmitted demons hooked into them and attached to them, you know, and they're none the wiser. They have no clue. But the next person they have sex with, they're transmitting that demon to that other person. And then guess what? That demon latches onto that, and then to that, and then to that. Our sexual energy is a fucking force field. It's magic. It's power. It's healing. And that's what the patriarchal rule did, is it came in and they wiped out the sex priestess and the sex magic, and you know, and they took it and manipulated it into darkness. And that's when we became, as humans, very disconnected from our sexual energies. And that's when humans just started having sex without all of this stuff involved. And it's disconnected sexual union. Just having sex to have sex. And that's when rape started and all kinds of things. It was a collective energy that swept through and wiped out the priestesses and our temples, and we hid the temples in other realms and dimensions, and like, only, you know what I mean? Like, we had to preserve, to save. Some priestesses, we teleported, we transported, we got the fuck out, but not everyone made it, right? Like, this stuff is crazy, but this stuff is so real. And it only sounds crazy because we've been so conditioned to make it, to think that way, to think it's all woo-woo and magic and it's not real when it is. That's what they've wanted us to think the whole time, right? Okay, so just really quickly, I'm going to read this part. Hold on. Oh, listen to this. See, this is what I mean about the dark magicians and like the Catholic Church, and like when all this stuff started, like Christianity, like the religious stuff, you know, it says that there's only a handful of dark magicians who actually know about the sex temples and the realms, as well as its connection to our world. I asked the sisters, meaning Isis and Lilith, if writing this book won't place the temple at risk, and they said that the humans need to know the temple and to learn from it now. So, you know, I don't even know when she did this book. Okay, so so the copyright is 2020. So 4 years ago is when she channeled this message. And at that time, clearly the sisters were like, okay, like, whoever is meant to find this, they'll find it. And this book did find me, or the first one found me, and then the second one, when I was ready, I opened it up, you know. And it was crazy because I had been calling in more guidance and something specific, because it was like I was initiating and I knew I was ready for another level up and more information, just like I'm doing right now for you guys, right? So okay, so this is all channeling, keep in mind. There are many levels of sex. It can take many forms and take you to different dimensions, and it all depends on what energy you put into it and what portal you are opening. The goddess energy, which is divine feminine, that's us, okay? The goddess takes you to heaven. That is the energy that she brings. She connects you and elevates your spirit. She is healing, sensuality, motherhood, love. She brings awakening, not just a blowjob or a fuck. The way women are viewed today when it comes to their worth and sex is highly disturbing from a perspective of a temple priestess. Most of us have gone too astray from our divine sexual power. The women were chosen or had a deep calling to serve the temple. Some of them even had special gifts and powers. High Priestess Isis is the embodiment of the goddess herself, the mother. She was and still is highly respected. There was no leader in the temple, for all the priestesses worked together. But if there was, Isis would have been her. Today, we have men priests who rape children. We have turned such a sacred divine life and role of the feminine into a dark demonic mass ritual with the dark religion of men. But the priestess of the temple would inspire the men to have a psychedelic experience. They often fell asleep while the priestess invoked dreams and lucid dreaming upon their energy bodies. The priestesses and initiates would dance for the man, entrancing the man with their bodies and voices, challenging in a way and provoking his shadow as well as light in order to heal, transform his energy, and move his sexual energy correctly. This dance, by the way, is where the modern women's stage show has come from. It is done today in many different forms, from belly dance performance in a community celebration to a lap dance in a strip club. It is a natural ability that the woman has, but unfortunately, women today have lost the wisdom that comes with it. The temple's sacred dance turned into a lap dance today, but has no more of the sacredness and wisdom or knowledge left within it, let alone with the love. The women today perform the sacred dance, but it is naked from all of its sacredness. This shows us, though, that this temple work is ingrained into our psyches, and there will always be a need for it. I pray that we will add the power back into it. We can change the world if we do. The priestesses would see the men they danced to or healed as a god. They knew how to invoke the god out of this man. Many men would cry often or have breakdowns and breakthroughs in the temple. Many could not bear it and they just walked away, but something within them would forever be changed nonetheless. Doesn't that sound familiar, divine feminines, my beautiful priestesses? Doesn't that sound familiar, or divine masculines tuning in, of what you have encountered and what you've been going through? That is what the priestess invokes. That is what the goddess invokes. We are here to heal women and men. We invoke the God out of the man. We hold the sacred space and activations to allow men to fall to their knees, to cry, to have these breakdowns and these breakthroughs. We are the sacred temples, you see. We don't need a physical structure. We are that temple. We emanate the sacred temple energies, frequencies, codes, magic, healings. Getting all crazy with my priestess up in here. In the temples, the priestess chooses the man, and she takes him to another space alone if he is ready. The priestess leads the ritual, whatever ritual is needed at the time, and he trusts her and gives the temple a gift, an offering, as well as to the earth itself. The man often had to serve the priestess first, and if he was worthy, she would serve his sexual power as well. If he isn't, she will usually teach him how to be a better lover and use his sexual energy correctly and send him away to practice and prepare himself for the next time. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there, but you guys, okay, you guys get it, you guys, right? Okay, so I'm ending it here, my loves. I will be continuing more. We will continue more about this. Like I said, this book is the second volume, and she's probably done more since then. I don't know, but it's probably the it's the second volume. So first, do not start with this book. I'm telling you, don't let your ego go, oh no, I'm ready, I'm so advanced. I'm telling you, don't do that. I mean, do what you want, but I'm telling you. And even the goddesses, Isis, Lilith, even the goddesses say, do not dive into this until you have initiated with the first book. Okay. So like I said, I read each of these like once, like I said, like 4 years ago. And they've honestly just been collecting dust sitting on my bookshelf. But this morning, just such powerful priestess activations, and the temple energies are just like fucking vibrating through so crazy. And I think a lot of it has to do with just obviously the stuff on earth, the fires that we are witnessing. And thank you for those of you guys who've been commenting and reaching out who know I'm in California. I am in Northern California though. And you know, so I'm about 6 hours north of Los Angeles. There's a white crane and a blue heron flying across the field in front of me right now. You guys, wow. Anyways, my point is that the priestesses, in a huge way, it's like calling out to all initiates, calling all priestesses, calling all temple priestesses. We need you. So here I am today at this very pivotal moment in Earth's history, unlocking more of these chambers within your heart and your soul memory and blueprint. Okay. Let's go ahead and get a card. Let's go ahead and get a card from, I love this deck. I never use it on YouTube, like online here, but I do use it with clients. It's a very powerful deck, but it's like a super powered priestess energy deck. So let's go ahead. I have no idea what I'm going to call this title or title this, you guys. And the whole point of all this is because if you're here, you are an Isis temple initiate or a Magdalene sister of the rose, or you know what I mean? I'm telling you. If you guys want to connect with me one-on-one and you want to work with me one-on-one with my gifts, I actually do a 1-hour goddess channeling session where it's like an activation. Usually some healing comes through. The goddesses or whoever I'm channeling for you, they come through and speak to you. You can talk to them. And then I also always do a little reading for everyone. But I do like general, obviously, psychic mediumship readings. I am a past life Akashic guide and reader. So past life readings, you guys, I tune into your Akash, open up your Akashic records, and I channel very detailed past lives of yours. And I mean very detailed, okay? So, but these are healing and activations as well in these readings. So anyways, it's all in the description box below, my loves. I would be honored to work with you. If you are here, you're still watching this, my God, Lilith, Isis, Hathor, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, like they're all just like here with you. You know, women have been, because of all this that we just channeled and shared and talked about and that I read, you know, women, we became sex objects. Men view us as sex objects. Like, that's why men stare and check out our butts as we walk by and, you know, like whatever, I get it. But like my whole life I've dealt with this, like just being a really beautiful woman. And, you know, even when I was younger, like boys in high school and junior high, like they were just fucking terrible and they were just dogs, you know, and I tap my heart and I send everyone love, of course. You know, they didn't know any better, but that's what I mean. That's also ingrained within the psyche of many souls here on earth, you know? Sex is not sacred. People are just walking around, you know, sharing sexually transmitted entities and demons. You know, there's so much anger and rage and duality and separation, right? That's why us temple priestesses need to rise up. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Don't just call yourself an empress and a priestess. Be the fucking priestess and empress. How are you helping? How are you serving? How are you showing up for yourself and for humanity, for earth, for the animals, for the collective? You don't have to have a YouTube channel and do what I do. But this is the moment where the priestesses and the temple energies and magic are calling to you. And they're going, are you cleansing? Are you purifying? Are you taking time, initiate, to be self-disciplined within your sacred spiritual rituals, practices? Are you anointing yourself with sacred oils? Are you taking goddess baths? Are you connecting with the fire? Are you connecting with nature? Are you connecting with your life force, your prana, your vitality and breath? You guys, be prepared because I'm going to be sharing more about the temple priestess, but I'm also going to be channeling because I have Thoth coming through. I have Melchizedek all up in my ear right now, because the masculine high priest kings and the masculine high priests, they are also here on earth and ready, right? We know this. That's what I mean. This is for men and women, right? But yeah, I am talking to the temple initiates, the priestess initiates, man and women. You could be a man here, and like I said, your beloved is a Magdalene priestess, tantric priestess, a healer. But you could be too, you know, like, I don't know. I'm ending with the Rose Oracle. Let's go ahead and get a message. Open. Say yes. expand through the extremes. You've been expanding through the extremes of life. It's felt extreme. It's felt crazy. It's felt chaotic. It's been tower moment, tower moment, tower moment, death, 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 right? Well, tower moments redirect you and the death energy rebirths you. So right now you are in this opening and it's time to be open. And it's also about the message today, about reopening to your sacred sex priestess, temple priestess awareness and knowledges. Embrace that sensuality, that sexuality that we have been deemed throughout history to be shameful of, right? Like, it's okay for men to be very sexual and passionate and to, right? But when it comes to women embodying that, it's taboo, right? No, we are rising once more. We are embracing our sexual gifts. We are embracing our sexual energy. We are transmuting the trauma and the wounds that we've been holding connected to our sacred sexuality for however long and however many lifetimes. Like, this is it. Trust life. Oh, and then this card came out too. Oh, I forgot. The Three of Wands. Look at this beautiful priestess dancing around these pillars, within these pillars of light. For me right now, this is like it's like showing her inside of the temple. Like, the temple is anchored and gridded down with very sacred, like I said, sacred geometry, symbols, codes, and it's anchored and gridded with very anchored in light. Okay, like, your ships are arriving, the Three of Wands. Right now, just be open. And her dress is like flowing. It's almost like she's dancing or in like a movement. Dance, play, movement, just like the temples, just like we did inside the temples, right? Prayer, offerings, communion with our soul family, you know? And it's number 333, Ascended Masters. Sophia, this is God's source. God's source, Sophia, okay? That is the Godhead. If you didn't know, now you know. So the universe itself, God's source itself is showing up, confirming this message. And it's saying, trust life. Trust in the divine plan. The divine plan is unfolding. This rose has blossomed. You are the rose. Your rose heart, your cosmic rose heart has blossomed. You've been, you know, each petal by petal by petal, right? Wisdom, I'm talking all about your soul wisdom, your God source soul wisdom. Intelligence within. Again, your intelligence within you. It's not outside of you. You're not going to find it out there. It's in here. It's in your heart chamber, you see. And then it speaks of destiny. Okay, and then the last card speaks of nourishment and replenishment. This is about the sacred waters. Our waters upon earth hold sacred healing codes, activations, Atlantean waters, the waters of Atlantis and Lemuria. Make sure you're saying a blessing over your water and your food before you bring it in. Clearing it with diamond white light or whatever, you know, of any impurities, anything that's not for the highest and greatest good of you, okay? Your body, like all the things, you guys. Again, this is about spiritual discipline. Live your life as a living ritual, right? Nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, self-care. That is your guidance right now. Replenishing your vessel, purifying your vessel. Okay, it's, you know, if you eat meat, that's fine. I still eat meat too, right? But I do feel very strongly that our animals are us. You know, we're all one, and our animals are guides and protectors. And, you know, for me, animal meat is very low vibrational. But like I said, I do eat it. The goddesses, when they would be preparing their bodies, because your vessel has to be also very clean and clear and high vibrational to channel a lot of the high level stuff and to hold and harness the energies of a lot of this high alchemic KO magic. You see, you can't be living off of Popeyes, McDonald's, and Diet Cokes and think you're gonna step into a temple and do this high level work. Hail to the no, you're not. You could have your open crown chakra, open third eye, you could still connect psychically, you could do all the things, but you would have to prepare your vessel, and to channel the highest frequencies and all the things, like, you got to have a pure vessel. Nourishment, water, whole foods, pure foods, high vibrational foods, foods from the ground and the earth, foods that have been ripened by the sun, like fruits, vegetables. Specifically fruits, though, you know what I mean? Like when they ripen and they, right, like the fruits and vegetables ripened by the sun, they actually hold light codes, just like the waters of earth. Natural bodies of water upon earth are, you know, moon water. The ocean is a huge pool of moon water. It's charged up, plus Atlantean codes and Lemurian codes, right? Okay, the mystic rose. I am speaking to the mystic rose right now. This is what you hold within you. This is what you are. Not everyone is going to connect with the rose lineage, but, you know, it speaks of compassion, devotion, being a devotee, devoted to your initiation, your soul mission, being, you know, devotion to being a temple priestess, humility, humanity, and grace. Through humility, grace, love, we are able to help humanity. So I'm leaving it here. I love you guys so much. Look at, oh, bitches. Look what's on the bottom of the deck. My freaking empresses, my high priestesses, my temple priestesses. Look at you baddies. Look at all the green, the fertility, the prosperity, the abundance, the new life growing all around you. Confirmation that this is a message for the divine feminine, for my empresses. I love you guys so much. You are in the birth of a new cycle. You are birthing new things. For some of you guys, it's literal motherhood, okay? Your body's being prepared, your vessel's being prepared, your life is being prepared, your chakras are being prepared, like all the things, mi amors. Okay, so I'll be back with more of these types of messages, channeling deeper and just, you know, going dark, just diving more into this. Because clearly we're ready. You're ready. The energy's on my channel in this tribe, and that will be coming in through all space and time. You're ready to receive this, okay? I love you. Namaste. Mwah.